What's the dumbest thing you believed as a kid? When I was a kid, my mom explained to me that we all had belly buttons because that's how our moms fed us before we were born. So I thought when you got pregnant, your belly button opened up and you just put whatever you wanted to down there. Like I thought women were just shoving chicken legs in their belly buttons. Plot twist. I'm a postpartum nurse now. People don't like people that grow vegetables in their house. I secretly celebrated my mom's poor in-house gardening skills because her tomato plants never had any tomatoes. I was about 11 when I figured out what those tomato plants were. Oh, so you wouldn't tell people that actors/TV characters would have to come back into a studio for each rerun of a show/movie. I would always be so amazed that people would have the time to go into a room with a camera multiple times a day just so I could watch them do the same thing over and over again. I thought that drinking and driving meant any drink. I burst into tears the first time I heard about drinking and driving. My dad always had a Dr. Pepper when we went places and I thought he was going to go to jail forever. The teachers sleep at school. The first time I saw one of my teachers at the supermarket, I was shocked. I must have thought the school kept them in a broom closet or something. That sex was literally sleeping next to one another and making moaning sounds. I heard things I wanna forget. I thought sex was making out with your shirt off but not pants off because that would be gross LMAO. I thought a baby just randomly appeared in a woman's womb. I stayed awake crying about it because I didn't want to become pregnant. I had no idea that morning sickness was associated with pregnancy. My coach was concerned when I shrugged my shoulders and stated that's what was probably causing my sluggishness at football camp practice. Not me, but my brother was convinced for a few weeks that some cows had longer legs on one side of their body so they could stand on hills. Those are the ones we get lean beef from. I didn't know cars have a turn signal lever. So I thought the car knew where we were going. I thought the car would use the arrows to tell my parents where to turn. I thought the same thing. I wondered how the heck the car knew where we were going. My parents didn't tell the car where they wanted to go. I was confused. I believed the exact same thing as well. It didn't help that my dad would tell me that it just knew whenever I asked how the car knew when to turn and which way to point the arrow. My parents would constantly trick me like this. I hated it as someone who just wanted to learn the truth of how things worked. That dinosaurs were still alive on another island. And I kept asking my mother if we could go to the island with all the dinosaurs. Then she told me they were all dead. Clearly your mom never heard of Isla Nublar. For some reason, I thought every car that was made had to do a crash test. Probably because my dad once told that our car had a very good rating in the crash test. I was amazed by the fact that all cars were repaired so well before being sold. I thought this as well. I saw some show where they were testing teddy bears by lighting them on fire and said every toy was tested. When I was young, my parents told me that if I kept leaving the fridge open then I would freeze the whole world and then no one would like me. And then no one would like me. I'm still cackling like a fucking madman at that for some reason. My mom told me babies came from pumpkin patches. I thought that if you eat a pumpkin you'll become pregnant. Only if you eat the seeds. That all bald men were kidnappers. No idea where it came from. I really don't think I was kidnapped as a child. But if I was, it was definitely a bald man that did it. I thought men who were hairy all over were less evolved. I thought that pregnant was a bad word. I was the most sheltered kid ever. I'm with you. I was corrected once for saying it. A woman is expecting. My dad also made me believe there were little gnomes working in ATM and vending machines. My brother and I wrote letters to Santa, and our dad would open up the coal furnace door and we would throw them in the fire. We believed they would go directly to the North Pole. My mom had us throw our letters in a wood fire. And when sparks came down and rested on the burning paper, those were the fire fairies, and they carried the ashes to Santa, where he magically reassembled them and read your letter. Escalator stairs were one-time use and just kinda piled up under the floor. That's so funny to me. Just all these stairs in a bin. Gotta take them out to the truck and dump them the stair disposal. That we had to change our names during different stages of our lives. Like we have a toddler's name, a teenager's name, and an adult's name. When I was about 4, my older sister told me that since the population of Japan was so high, Japanese people slept sideways on their beds so they could fit more people on every bed. I believed it until I went to a sleepover at 13 and suggested that we sleep Japanese style on the bed so everyone could fit. This is too good. Blue fire was cold. Ajala. Ajala was pretty cold at the end of Atla. 1-3 Wyoming thought she was pretty hot during the beach episode. That fat people explode when they get too fat. A wafer thin mint. That the gender of a baby depended on which person was trying harder during sex. I was told that your left and right testicles produce different gendered sperm. Nah. It depends on the color of the sugar you leave on the windowsill for the stork. If you leave pink sugar, the stork will deliver a girl. For boys you need blue sugar. I thought the black market was an actual market. Like under a bridge or something. I believed this for longer as I want to admit. Edit. Thank you for the award. Same. Like in farmer's market for guns and organs. Getcha kidneys here. Good kidneys for a fair price. When I was younger, my dad upgraded the speaker setup for the TV to include surround sound. The rear speakers were mounted to the ceiling and were large white boxes. On the front of the speakers it had the numbers 3508. I always thought that was kind of strange until many years later I realized they were Bose speakers mounted upside down. The HP trademark is just 4 diagonal lines. My brother had me convinced for a while that each person had to have a unique favorite color. And since his was blue, I had to change mine. On my first day of kindergarten, we had to introduce ourselves and say our favorite color. I was super stressed out because the kids in front of me picked the good colors. And I kinda panicked and told everyone my favorite color was gray. I thought homosexuals were people who only had sex at home. I mean, you're not wrong. Have you seen gay people having sex outside? /s. That dogs were boys and cats were girls. I thought that my stomach was actually the entire volume of my body. Eating food would pile it all up as if putting it into a bag. When I was asked why I would drink or eat smaller foods when I was full, my reasoning was there are still cracks between all the other food I ate. So it can fall through those gaps. Someone told me that Tony Hawk played Darth Vader in Star Wars and I believed it for an embarrassingly long time. I live by some fairly large mountains. One day it was so overcast you couldn't see them. I asked my brother why we couldn't see them and he said construction workers cut them down. I was so sad. I was relieved to see them the next day. That every time you learned something new, you got a new wrinkle in your brain. Bloody Mary would come through my mirror and kill me. Low-key still believe this. Yet I won't test this out for this reason. Scared me when I was 13. Still kinda afraid at 39. And that the no minors sign outside bars and taverns was there so they wouldn't get coal dust inside and flash their lights at everyone. Before color was invented, the whole world was in black and white. Not just TVs. If you turn on the light in the car while driving, you'll get arrested. Dads everywhere agree with you on that. My dad told me he was an alien. I was super into outer space. I told all my friends my dad was an alien. Well, wasn't till I was an older teen I realized he meant an alien from France living in the US. I felt dumb as rocks. But I am an alien. You just didn't ask what kind. In sports, I used to think whatever number the player wore was how old that player was. When I saw a picture of Babe Ruth, my reaction was, that's one big 3-year-old. I thought boys didn't have balls till they hit puberty. I took their balls drop literally. I believed the San Juan thumb cutter would chop off my thumb if I didn't stop being a thumb sucker. My parents told me he would with such palpable fear that I totally bought it. That I'd be a doctor or lawyer because that's all the family talked about. I believed mothers breastfed regular milk with the right boob. And, get this, chocolate milk with the left boob. I thought that coffee came out of men's nipples. My younger sister convinced me that milk was just cow piss. Dad told me if the ice cream truck had its music playing it was out of ice cream for the day. Watching Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. When Darth Vader is defeated and Luke looks at his hand, I didn't understand that he was metaphorically becoming his father. I thought if he killed Darth Vader, he would literally become Darth Vader. Suit and everything. I believed for way too long that pickles were just regular-sized cucumbers that got, I dunno, chemically miniaturized during the pickling process. I thought the 4th of July fireworks were for my birthday, which is July 2nd. When I was younger I thought the years would stop at 2013 and then all the years would repeat itself again. Also I thought Oprah sang opera. That if I was strong enough I would be able to carry myself. I thought a period piece was a movie a woman would watch when she was on her period. My mom told me she had eyes in the back of her head. One day she was washing dishes and I poked the back of her head. She screamed, "Ow, my eyes." And for the longest time I thought she really did have eyes in the back of her head.